Good morning, Iona Prep. Today is Tuesday, December 6th, day 6th. I'm Christopher Wells.
And I'm Chris Chaser.
Here are your morning announcements. The next rock climbing trips is on Thursday, December 8th. New climbers are always welcome. If you want to go, tell Mr. Cavanaugh in the library or send him an email. Throughout this week, the SFC will be partnering with the Human Rights Club during lunch periods. For $10, you could purchase an Iona Prep water bottle and a dress down pass for this Friday's dress down day. The water bottle supports the Human Rights Club's recycling efforts to cut down on disposable plastic bottles. This week's Dress Down Day will support the SFC Toy Drive as we deliver gifts to more than 200 students at Hawthorne Country Day.
Well, there's a river that runs through Glasgow, and it makes her, but it breaks her, and takes her into part. And the current, just like my blood flow down from the hills, round aching bones to my restless heart.
There will be a varsity baseball meeting Wednesday at 2:45 in room 401. This meeting is for anyone interested in playing varsity baseball this spring. If you are playing a winter sport, please stop by and sign in before your team activities. Congratulations to the Iona Prep speech and debate team, who placed 6th at the Emily Clemente tournament last Saturday. Special congratulations to Matthew Holderman, who got an honorable mention in varsity oral interpretation. The Wellness Committee will be holding a meeting today at 2:45 in room 305. New members are always welcome. NHS Study Center will meet today in room 207. All are welcome. Attention juniors. The Herff Jones Company will be back to take class ring orders tomorrow. They will be set up by the cafeteria during lunch. Please see the email Mr. Casella forwarded you from Herff Jones for more information. Now for this day in history.
Good morning. I'm Damien Garcia, and here's your day in history. December 6th. On this day in 1865, the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, officially ending the institution of slavery, is ratified. In Washington, D.C., workers place a 9-inch aluminum pyramid atop a tower of white marble, completing the construction of an impressive monument to the city's namesake and the nation's first president, George Washington, on this day in 1884. And finally, on this day in 1921, the Irish Free State, composing 4/5 of Ireland, is declared, ending a 5-year Irish struggle for independence from Britain.
Seniors in Mr. Horton's film class are reminded that the test on 7 is in class today. The midterm presentations are due into Google Classroom Wednesday the 7th. Please see Mr. Horton for any questions. Members of the music ministry are reminded that there is a music rehearsal scheduled for Wednesday's activity period in the Verney Center. Music will be introduced for the upcoming Mass of Immaculate Conception, the Special Family Mass, and the Christmas Mass. Please arrive promptly. A reminder for music ministry members, there is a Mass on Thursday morning. Music ministry members must attend the rehearsal sound check on Wednesday afternoon in the gym. Please arrive promptly. A reminder for all music ministry members, there is a special Iona Family Mass on Saturday afternoon, tomorrow. All participating music ministry members should plan on arriving at 2:30 p.m. for a sound check. A reception with food will follow the Mass. If you are not able to participate, make sure you've notified Mr. Donofree. Now for part 1 of 3 videos with Westchester County Executive Robert Astorino.
Good morning, Iron Prep, and welcome to a special segment of Gaelforce Live. Today, I'm here with Westchester County Executive, Mr. Rob Astorino. Mr. Astorino, thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to sit down and talk with us.
Thanks, Damien. Anytime.
All right, so I think the best way to open this interview is exactly describing what you do. So what exactly do you do as a county executive?
You know, my wife asks me that all the time. It's a busy day. It's a busy time of year right now because we're in our budget, so we're trying to get a budget passed for next year. But every day is really different, and that's kind of what I like about it the most. You get up in the morning and your day is planned, and then by 9 o'clock it's upside down because something has happened. I've had to deal with massive hurricanes like we saw in Westchester with big outages. We've had to deal with floods. We've had to deal with train crashes. And then you deal with just the mundane of trying to keep a very big government with over 5,000 employees and almost $2 billion budget running well for the people of the county. So it's always a challenge. And then you do the big stuff for, where the Pope comes into New York City and you have a chance to be there for that. And so it's every day is different, but it's really cool.
Awesome. And then how exactly did you get into politics and government?
You know how I started? I was actually about your age, and I was going to Westlake High School, and I was in 10th grade. And I always played sports, and then one day I wasn't feeling well. And this was going on for a couple of weeks. And my mother decided to take me to the doctor, and he said I had something called mononucleosis. And it's an autoimmune deficiency, and so my spleen was very enlarged. It was coming out of my rib cage, which if your spleen ruptures, you could die. So the doctor says you can't play any more sports, so I had to leave football at the time and couldn't do anything, and I was out of school for 6 weeks. And during that time, 2 big things happened. My neighbor came across the street and said, "Hey, we're going to start taping the Westlake football games. Would you like to announce the games on cable?" And I did, and I loved it. And then from there, I started doing a weekly television show, and that was really the beginning of my broadcasting career. At the same time, friends of mine, while I was out of school, said, "Hey, do you want to run for class president?" And I said, "All right, why not?" And so they got signatures, and I became class president, then I became student council president, and junior and senior.
Wow.
And then I went on to politics. So I've always had these dual tracks, but I don't know what would have happened had I not gotten sick.
Yeah.
And I just would have continued doing the things that I was doing then, and who knows where it would have led to.
It's amazing how fate can work in different ways. So what did you study when you went to college, and then what do you recommend to someone if they wanted to get into government?
Well, I went to that bad school, the F school. I went to Fordham. But it was very good for communication, still is. And so broadcast journalism was my career. I was on the radio station WFUV for my 4 years. I continued to do the cable show that I was doing, and that grew where I was doing things on Madison Square Garden Network and something called Sports Channel, which was way back when, but it became Fox Sports eventually. And so I was lucky enough to, as a late teenager and in my early 20s, be able to cover World Series and NFL games and boxing championships and all the big stuff. And it was really my passion. It kind of still is. Politics one of these days is going to stop.
Yeah.
And eventually I go back and do TV and radio, which is what I like to do the most. And even now I co-host or host, fill in sometimes on WOR radio out of New York City. I go down to Fox TV and do stuff. So that might be where I end up going if this doesn't continue. It's not going to continue forever.
Today's lunch is manicotti with marinara sauce and garlic bread. Today's birthdays are Daniel Skaka and David Chu. Today's home games are varsity JV basketball versus Scanlon. Well, that's all for today, Iona Prep. Once again, I'm Chris Chaser.
And I'm Christopher Wells.
Have a great day.